him.
I want to watch the news.
Are you making headway at least?
This is the news.
Smack 'em a gob, it's time for the only news that matters. And Lars Ulrich admitted to being Metallica's biggest fan, arguing that this was his main motivation for making everything the band does as accessible to fans as possible. Just as Metallica helped reimagine metal and create one of its most popular offshoots in the early 80s, so did the thrash giants revolutionize how a band interacts with their fans. From hosting one of the first webcasts in the mid-90s to letting fans vote for the song that would end up on their set list, and staging immense live sets such as the ones on M72's World Tour. Metallica has gone above and beyond to make their followers feel included and offer what they believe is the best possible experience. You know, I'm reading this. I don't buy this shit. Anyway, for Lars Ulrich, that desires come from being Metallica's biggest fan, as he told Zane Lowe during a chat in this year's SXSW. All right, this is what he said. He said, I have a very clear sort of visual with this thing about the door being open. It's just about trying to be as accessible as possible, as transparent as possible. You know, when I go see bands like Iron Maiden and Motorhead, I would end up backstage hanging out with the bands or meeting them outside the venues, spending time with them and getting autographs. And my friends and I would follow Motorhead around California, drive behind their tour bus. It's always been in me. I cannot and will not, and certainly 45 years into it, can say with certainty that I will never shake the fanboy that I really am. I consider myself to be the biggest Metallica fan there is. I say that with pride, and I will always do everything I can do to take the fan side and to try to make sure that whatever access is possible. We're on all the streaming platforms. We don't just side with one or the other because that's not fair to the fans. Or if there's an opportunity to do something, we want to make sure that it has as much of a collective feel as possible, because we want to make sure that everybody can join to the best of their ability, to the best of our ability. And it's not just about economics or social statues or whatever it is. Coming from a country like Denmark, it's all about the collective, all about us and we, rather than me, my, and I. Me, my, and I. Yeah. That should be Eddie Trunk's name. Me, mine, and I. Anyway, all right. Is Lars Ulrich really the biggest Metallica fan? Let me think about that. Let's weigh this together, shall we? All right. You have to be a huge Metallica fan to like every damn song they've ever done. And you know, I'm sure none of my viewers would be one of those people, but you know there's somebody out there. No matter what Metallica's done, Lulu, St. Ang, whatever, they're going to love it all. They're going to love every song off the loads, everything, right? And Lars Ulrich, does he like everything? No, he doesn't. He's gone on record to say he didn't like Eye of the Beholder. And he also has said, James said it too, Escape. They don't like those songs. Hey, I'm not the biggest Metallica fan, but I like one of those songs, Escape, you know? But yeah, as far as the later stuff, no. Lars probably got me on that. You know, that he likes every song like after Justice, I guess. You know, I don't know. Maybe he's slammed a song here and there. Hey, if any of you know, let me know in the comments below. Is there anything that Lars said, damn, we shouldn't have recorded that stupid song Fixer? Or something like that, you know? I'd like to know. And yeah, Lars is the punching bag of, oh, Lars sucks. He can't play drums. And, you know, I was reading somebody the other day. It was a video that I was watching on Metallica. And somebody left a comment that said, oh my, the worst fills ever. And when he said that, I was watching Lars, and when he was doing the fills, yeah, they weren't that good. They weren't like, you know, but still, it wasn't like the worst thing ever, you know? I mean, he's old, he's keeping up. I mean, it's weird, man, because in the 80s, nobody in that band was loved more than Lars. All of us headbangers, we all loved Lars because Lars was one of us. Lars loved the new wave of British heavy metal. He even had part in this compilation CD that kicks ass about new wave of British heavy metal. He was one of us. And then he didn't begin, and then he wasn't one of us no more, you know? But whatever, you know, people change. I don't give a fuck. I really don't care. Metallica's the biggest band ever, and good for them. You know what? With their first 3 albums, I'm glad they're the biggest band ever. I don't care how crappy they were after that. They have 3 amazing albums, and they play a good chunk of it every show, I think. I don't know. Last time I saw them the last time I saw Metallica was Johnny Z Tribute, where they only played songs from the first 2 albums, but they didn't, and they played Blitzkrieg and the full version of Am I Evil. But you know what? The 3 songs they didn't play, and I find this very interesting. They didn't play Escape. Now, I understand that because they hate it. But then there's 2 songs off of Kill 'Em All they didn't play. The 4 Horsemen, which is, why not that one? And Jump in the Fire. Those 2 songs were not played that night. Now, who had a lot to do with those 2 songs? Dave Mustaine. Makes you wonder, right? But, you know, I know Mustaine had to do with Ride the Lightning, and I think Metal Militia, something, you know, whatever. But I just found it odd that the 2 songs they omitted from Kill 'Em All, the 2 songs that Dave Mustaine had a lot to do with. Boy, is that nerdy talk or what? Hell yeah. The only news that matters throws in the nerd stuff, man. Always. But going back to Lars, yeah, you know, a lot of people like picking on him and Metallica. And, you know, hey, man, I understand. You know, they are not what they were. I do understand that. I do love Hardwired, and that's about it. From Master of Puppets to Hardwired, I don't like anything in between that. And the last album, I mean, I was very, very hopeful because after not liking Metallica for so many years, and then all of a sudden Hardwired came out, I was like, oh my God, this shit's awesome. So I was hoping a return to that. And I had high hopes. I even went to the theater. The theater was showing like all the videos from the album. And some of those videos weren't done, by the way, when I went to the theater. They played some songs with like little blotches on the screen. And yeah, it was like a rush job. But whatever. I heard it and I thought, And then my buddy J-Man got me it on vinyl. He also got me the Injustice for All box set. I do love some of Justice. I love that, you know, Blackened. I don't think they've ever wrote a song as good as Blackened since Blackened, you know? But whatever, man. And then Lars Ulrich pissed everybody off with Napster, even though he was right. But, you know, at the end of the day, man, Lars was awesome. And now, he's not so much the Lars I idolized and loved in the 80s. He's become an artiste, you know, and he's into the avant-garde stuff. Yeah, you know, he lives the millionaire lifestyle, you know, to a T. And hey, you know, I miss the old Lars, but what can I do, man? And he did those same fills in the 80s. Come on. But back then it was cool, you know? Lombardo was always superior. There's so many superior drummers that, you know, that are better, but, you know, Lars did something. I think Lars did some unique stuff. I think his drumming on a lot of those early Metallica albums may not be technically amazing, but I thought they were pretty damn cool. The structure that he did, you know, the vibe, you know, the drumming he did on, you know, like, for instance, For Whom the Bell Tolls. I love that drumming he does on that. You know, it's kind of unique, man. Lars had its own thing. And to think they were going to kick out Lars. Can you imagine? It's been confirmed, Scott Ian talked about it. If they kicked out Lars right before Injustice, because they were going to kick him out before Cliff died, imagine if Metallica would have hired like a technically amazing drummer to play with Metallica. I think what would happen, I don't care how good that drummer is, everybody would have been pissed off. All the Metallica fans. Because we all love Lars. You know, if they fired him, you know, after the Black Album, yeah, I wouldn't give a fuck. But back then I would have, you know. So yeah, it's too bad, you know. I would have loved to hear Metallica with a different drummer, see, and compare. And the reason why I would love to hear Metallica with a different drummer is because I would have loved that bus accident to never happen and Cliff would have still been with us today. Anyway, that's it. What do you all think? Leave it in the comments below. Anybody out there like every damn Metallica song, including every song on Lulu? Leave it in the comments below. And thank you so much for watching The Only News That Matters. And please subscribe to my channel if you haven't. And ring that little notification bell and like the video. It's good for the YouTube algorithms. So stay frosty, listen to Black Sabbath, and smack 'em a gob.
Farewell and adieu to you fair Spanish ladies. Farewell and adieu, you ladies of Spain. For we've received orders for to sail back to Boston. And so never more shall we see you again.